Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Course Building Secrets podcast. Hey, in this episode, this is for my service-based entrepreneurs and business owners. And how do you look at growing and scaling your business beyond just working harder or having a huge infrastructure in terms of team and location and all of the things? And this episode speaks directly into my heart because when I started my agency 16 years ago, this is the way that I started and then the way that I scaled my business so that I could keep growing. I sort of ended up in that place where two things happened. One is I couldn't take on more clients without hiring more people. And when I hired more people, that grew my expenses so I never quite got ahead of becoming more profitable because I had to have more and more expenses as I was growing my agency. And the second thing is that we were sort of always in that feast or famine, right? So we had to have enough capacity in order to keep the team. I had to have the team in order to meet the capacity. So it kind of was always in that chicken and the egg scenario. So I don't know if you find yourself in that place, but what happens in that situation, one other than it being super stressful, is that you cap out at a specific revenue number because you just can't leap over where you are in terms of growth just by working harder, longer, or putting in more effort, right? So something has to change. So this is a lot of the journey that I went through, but also as we've taken our clients through of how do you package your expertise, how do you package your service-based business in order to grow and scale it in a way that you can have that exponential growth in order for you to keep growing and not kill yourself by working a ton of hours or building a huge infrastructure in terms of team as you are going. All right, so I'm going to break this down into various sort of stages or levels that you can think about in terms of as you're growing your business. So a lot of times when you first get started, say you're leaving your corporate job and you're going out and putting your shingle up, or you are you have wanted to do something with your expertise. Usually what happens is you start by just getting clients, right? So you're just doing a bunch of different things. You're helping them. You've kind of determined your expertise or your topic from a broad picture perspective. And then anyone who comes in, you're helping them regardless of sort of do they match that core system that you want to create, right? So you're just kind of in this hours for dollars pattern. You're helping people, but every single thing that you're doing for every client is just a little bit different, or it could be a lot different, right? So when we first started, we do custom learning solutions for large companies. And so when we started, what would happen is we would have our sort of way that we would work with clients, but all the projects were different, right? Different industries, different needs, different problems that we were solving. And so everything was just slightly different. So I had to hire really specialized talent to come in to help actually get to the finish line with the different projects, which is great, right? Like working with a lot of awesome people, but the more specialized your talent, the more expensive they are, the harder it is to make margins, right? So all my clients were coming in and we were providing an awesome service and really doing a great job with them, but every single project was different. We couldn't put it into a system or a framework or a formula that was consistently applied all the way through with all of our clients. And so the challenge with that is because everything is different, it's really hard to kind of work through the consistency. When you're hiring people, it's really hard for them to follow kind of an ad hoc model. It's hard when you're bringing clients in to provide them with a level of security that they're going to have their project delivered on time and on budget. And of course, the more variation that you're doing in your business, the harder and more complex it is to run the business. So that's level one. That's usually when people start, is they're just trying to kind of figure out either who their ideal client is, what problem they solve, and how can they start to consistently solve that problem in a way that they can provide an efficient solution. Okay, so that's number one. So what happens is you get to a level of growth. Again, really hard to scale. You kind of end up in that place of like everything feels like a mess. Everything feels really hard, and you're not able to get any efficiencies as you're going. And so it's a really tough place to be. And at some point you max out. So then you have level 2, which is you've chosen a specialization, right? You've taken all of those projects and you're like, okay, this is the one, or these projects are the ones we love the most. And so you kind of, you choose that one and you specialize. When you specialize, what you can do is you can turn that into a step-by-step formula or step-by-step signature framework or methodology that you can consistently deliver each and every time to all of your customers. So if you do that and you're consistently providing them that level of experience, what starts to happen is you get more efficient. You can document how things go with that step-by-step system. Your team has more predictability. Your client has more predictability. You can start to just deliver on that one step-by-step methodology, and then you can start to think about what comes next, right? So once you've done that and you can run all your clients through it, it helps to save time. It helps to gain efficiencies. You're starting to create some standard operating procedures. You're starting to create some systemized approaches for how things happen, and it becomes something that it can be scalable because it's more streamlined and it's one way of doing it versus sort of ad hoc. Everyone's a little bit different. But it requires some discipline because it requires you to just choose that one thing and move forward with that one thing and really start to, just hone that one process as you're going through. So choose the one that's sort of your signature methodology that solves the problem that you like to solve the most, and then start saying no to everything else. What that will do is it will attract the right people to you who need that solution and give you the opportunity to start honing in on just that focused area. So as you're starting to grow in this area, what you'll see is you're able to hire easier. You're able to attract the right clients who aren't asking for all sorts of crazy wackadoo things, and your profitability will start to go up because you can have a little bit more predictability in how you're delivering and how you're getting other people to help you deliver as well. All right, so that's level 2, is if you are in that place where everything is totally different and you're solving different problems for every single client that comes in, start to think about which one you like the best. Start to put together kind of that signature methodology, right? It's a step-by-step process from point A to point B that helps to define how you're helping people each and every time. So for us in the agency, we came up with a 5-step framework. And in that framework, we took all of them through the same process. So I was able to go out and talk to prospective clients and say, listen, I know that how long this is going to take, how much budget it's going to take, and what the schedule is going to be, based on the fact that we have a proprietary framework that you can feel confident that we're going to go through and get results because we have that level of predictability. I was able to get about 90% accuracy with everyone's projects because of that, because we had such a specific methodology that we were going through. It helped everything. And that was the first big transition point in the agency that allowed us to keep growing and keep growing in a way that was sustainable. Okay, so then the next level is, how do you take that step-by-step methodology and start to package it in a way that allows you to deliver it in some interesting ways that allows you to save time, to save effort, and not repeat yourself. This is sort of the game we get into. I call it 51st dates, where every single time we're working with a customer, we're repeating ourselves. We're making up new things. Once we have that step-by-step signature and methodology, now we can start saying, okay, so how do we bring customers on board consistently? How do we get them set up? How do we put them in the system? How do we help them learn the different components that they need to either, be a part of our done for you service, or start transitioning them in this phase into done with you? So perhaps they just want the system and some coaching and accountability, but they have a full implementation team who can implement. They have a full team or they want to themselves do the work to implement, right? So you can give them the system, and then they're able to go in and actually, complete what needs to be done because they have the step-by-step path. And so this opens up a whole new revenue source for people who are either, like I said, have a team, or they want to do it themselves, but they want to use your methodology. So again, you can start packaging that. You can give them your standard operating procedures that you use with your team, any templates or tools, coaching and accountability. This starts to shift the conversation from just done for you to done with you, and allows you to start packaging your expertise in a completely new way, and, like I said, serve a new audience. And then once you have done that and you've been able to help them, you have something that's packaged, you've kind of learned all the pitfalls. We call it controlling the dip, which allows you to create an experience that is highly leveraged using systems and technology, and still provides an awesome experience that allows people to participate and get results and have sort of that coaching and help as they're going. In level 3, once you've done all of that, then you have a whole new opportunity to package all of that into maybe a do-it-yourself option. If somebody wants to take your system and apply it on their own without any intervention from you, they have that opportunity either as a full program, or you can pull out pieces of your core program and just give them parts that they can start to implement on their own. So you can sell them on their own or sell them as part of a package. And so if you look at that progression, what it does is it starts to take you from that ad hoc, we'll do anything, anyone who comes in, we're going to say yes, to a very strategic growth model that helps you continue to grow and adds additional levels of customers that you may not even be able to see yet today because of the way that you are just doing done for you services. So imagine if you didn't just have the done for you services, but you also had additional ways to serve people. You would have additional customers and members if you have a continuity model, but you also can still have your core done for you services as well that are more streamlined based on the problem that you're trying to solve. And it simplifies your entire business model, gives you revenue from additional sources, and eventually allows you to grow and scale in a way that is sustainable and grows beyond you as the business owner. So if you're in that position of trying to scale your services, or you're just in the position of you're just not growing anymore, you've reached that ceiling. I know that the first time I reached that ceiling, I was about at $800,000 in annual revenue, and I just couldn't get back past it. And so we had to start looking at these other levels in order to maximize our efforts that we had as a business, so that we could not only continue to grow our revenue, but also grow our profitability. Because as you know, if you have a great top line revenue and terrible profitability, you don't really have a sustainable business, right? And so this allows you to do both. So if this serves you today, I would love to get your feedback on this, because I know that when I was a struggling service provider, this is one of the answers that I would have loved to have had. I just didn't know the right question to ask, right? And so often it's just put more people on it, put more work on your operating system, put more people in it, get a new office, get more clients, all of those different answers. But looking at how you're offering your services and how you're productizing your services actually provides you with what you need to unlock those new customers and unlock the ability to help people and have it completely removed from your time, right? From recreating the wheel every time, from having that 51st date scenario. And so hopefully this served you, because I know that it made a huge difference in my business as I was kind of at that point of growth. And if you are trying to create your program and you haven't actually gone through these levels, it may be interesting to think about the fact that maybe you need to start by going out and helping, maybe 5 different customers that you can just help serve them, so that you can uncover your signature methodology and start to package it. It's really hard to start with trying to package or put a course together or a program together without having that sense of how you're getting them from point A to point B, right? How are you solving their problem in the fastest and most efficient way? Because at this point, like, if you haven't worked with customers, you're just sort of guessing, right? Or you're using your own experience, which is great. And so, but it may serve you to just jump in the game and start, taking people through your signature methodology one-on-one or in a small group, so that you can, when you are packaging it, when you are automating it, you are able to provide that level of service in a simulated delivery method, so that you are making sure that you're getting those results, making sure you're helping people solve that problem, and it helps to really expand your ability to serve. So that's just a side note. If you're kind of starting from level 4, you may want to fill in a little bit with level 2 and 3. I wouldn't go back to 1, but going back to 2 and 3 from a short time perspective, so that you can dial in some of the SOPs, some of the details in your signature methodology. It will really help you as you are growing and scaling. So there you go. That is your course building tip for today.